Welcome AuthorTube Writing Conference 2024 attendees. My name is Holly Rhiannon. I'm the CEO of Montreal-based small press The Stygian Society, and today I'll be talking to you about building authentic author communities, putting aside metrics and numbers for a minute to go beyond that. As we careen through an era of minuscule attention spans, metrics, AI, and content, I and the members of my press believe that it's important to shift focus to community in authorship. In this session, we'll explore how genuine support and collaboration can redefine the author-publisher relationship in this modern era. Follower counts, likes, comments, shares. Am I posting enough? Am I posting the right content? Should I be making videos? Should I be on TikTok? Threads? Where is it most likely that my posts are going to go viral? When posting online, it's easy to stress about these things and more in efforts to maximize your metrics. This pursuit can not only be overwhelming, but distracting and disappointing. However, follower counts and likes can be misleading indicators of success. For instance, studies show that social media accounts have a good number of fake followers floating around. 9.5% on Instagram, 4 to 5% on Facebook, and a whopping 19% or higher on X. Many of these accounts are used for inflating follower numbers without adding genuine engagement. Sure, with the amount of people on these platforms, that still leaves a lot of real humans out there, but these percentages are nothing to ignore when trying to interact and game the algorithm. Speaking of the algorithm, algorithms complicate things as they constantly change, making it difficult to maintain visibility and reach. And of course, platforms are never clear on the programming of their algorithms. Chasing these metrics can lead to frustration and a loss of focus on what truly matters, which should be your passion and your message. Which brings me to my point. Authentic connections are far more valuable than focusing all of your energies into the numbers game. By building and engaging with a smaller, genuine audience, your connections will be more meaningful and your followers will be more loyal. Hence the rise of micro-influencers. These connections build trust and credibility, which are essential for sustained success. Not to mention, your accounts may wind up growing even faster after you've built this foundation of people backing you who really believe in you. Nothing beats organic shares and word of mouth. So how on earth are you supposed to put aside all of the metrics and the benchmarks that we're so used to striving for? It's not easy. And it definitely involves a bit of mental rewiring, but here's the good news. You're probably just rewiring your brain to the creative state that it was in before you started sharing your work on social media, or in the case of oldies like me, before you even knew what social media was. Look at it this way. When you first started writing, what were you thinking about? The characters? The story? Maybe some goals about publishing and, I don't know, having a fun book launch and signing at Barnes & Noble. I know for me, my brain was very focused on the creative element and the people my stories were going to connect with. Having grown up as a Comic-Con kid, I would watch my dad and his peers sign their books for readers who lined up around the equivalent of a block just to say hello. And that's what I wanted. The connection which characters I dreamed up could make with people around the world. And that is it. That's the feeling you want to hold in your mind. I know for all of us it's going to be a little bit different, but you need to find your own version of that Comic-Con booth in your mind. I know when I'm thinking about numbers, I'm not making many connections. When you're working on the back end of your social media accounts, how much time do you spend doing that every day? An hour? 2? 5? If you spent even half that time interacting with your peers and followers, I'm willing to bet you'd be getting better results. And I say this as someone who has a lot of trouble following through on this myself. So what are some practical methods that you can keep in mind to build meaningful relationships? To connect with readers and fellow writers, start by creating a list of people to interact with. This might also scratch that data collecting itch that you've probably built up by spending so much time with your head in the algorithm. Identify readers, authors, and influencers within your genre. Make it a goal to interact with at least one person from this list per day. Genuine comments on their posts or sharing their content can go a long way. And remember, when you share those posts, comment on them too. Don't just, click and leave. Add that genuine element to it so that the person you're sharing from can see what you're getting out of what they are putting into the world, which will help them create things that appeal to you and others like you moving forward. Now, if you're thinking just one person, I can do that, but shouldn't I aim for more? I will paraphrase for you a really valuable piece of advice given to me by Daniel Garner of OG Rose. Start with something that seems too easy. If you overshoot, you're far more likely to fail. So start off easy, like painfully easy, and you will actually succeed faster in creating consistency. Once you've locked in that pattern, then increase your frequency of interactions. What you're doing here by starting small is carving out the place in your day during which you will do this activity. And once that element of the habit is set, it's easier to then expand on the task. So for you, painfully easy might be 1, or it might be 5. You know yourself better than I do. Another great thing to do is join community-driven platforms like Discord. Find a space where you can engage in discussions, share your work, and provide feedback to others. By building this foundation, when you're ready to promote your published work, everyone on your server is going to be really happy to see it and support it. And if you're having trouble finding the right server for you, might I recommend the Stygian server? We have a good base of members and are currently in the relaunch phase. We will be providing a safe and supportive space for writers and readers from all around the world to interact. And if you happen to be a Discord regular already, be sure to let me know, as we are currently building our admin team, and this is a really important element that our relaunch relies on. When you do get to interacting on servers, start by setting a timer. Take 15 minutes a day to check in on your server and have one discussion. That will really add up. And with timed interactions like that, it's important to keep in mind that it's not just about creating time for that interaction, but knowing when to cut it off as well. You will be able to progress so much further if you are cutting those conversations off at 15 minutes, yet doing them every day, rather than starting something and getting carried away for 4 hours and not doing it again until the next week. Hosting and participating in virtual events is another effective technique. Hey, like what we're doing right now. And you don't have to be on YouTube to do this. You can easily go live on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or on your own website. Organize webinars, readings, or Q&A sessions, or keep it even more intimate if you prefer by sending a link to select attendees for a Zoom or Google Meet gathering that is invite only. There's so many ways to come at this. It's really just about finding what you have the most fun with, what you get the most out of, and what you're just comfortable with. Like I said, participating counts too. Have you told people yet where to find you in the live chat here? If you haven't, now's the time. Another great way to find your tribe is to get into book clubs and writing groups, and this isn't something you even have to be on the internet for. Find your local meetups or NaNoWriMo chapters, and you'll even then have local supporters who can attend your book launches when the time comes. Like Discord, these are great places to share your experiences and exchange support. And of course, circling right back to where we started, your social media platforms and those daily interactions, connecting with others, is what's going to feed all the other interactions that you decide to pursue. You can even engage in challenges, hashtags, and discussions to increase your visibility. But keep in mind to focus on the quality of this participation and what you're truly getting out of it and what others are getting out of it as well, not the numbers or the algorithm. People love authenticity. The main thing here is to really meditate on what numbers have brought you. Sure, sponsors or even some publishers, we'll get into that, may be into them. But I know for me, personally, all of the leaps I've made in the industry are due to the individuals who I know. And that is not nearly as large a circle as, say, the numbers on my X account. Every notable change on the internet right now is based around trust and personalization. Looking into the world of online marketing, did you know that when customers receive transparent ads based on their activity on a site, that the product's revenue grows by 38%? Additionally, 76% of customers say that personalized messaging makes them think more on a brand, while 78% say that communication of this kind even made them more willing to purchase. And here's the really interesting part. Only 34% of marketers personalize their digital marketing. That's less than half. At this point, you might be saying, Holly, I'm a writer or the owner of a small press, not a marketer. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're a marketer. Welcome to the world of marketing. So, you want to key into those features and really embody them yourself. Be true to yourself and the people you interact with, and you can even avoid things like burnout. But that's another discussion, one that I've had on my podcast. So if you're interested, I'll be linking that along with the supplemental info for you to check out. Lastly, consistency is key. Right now, I'm in the process of refining my social media strategy and strategizing how to manage these genuine interactions. The goal is to spend time consistently in the right places, rather than sporadically all over the place as I often do. Be active daily, but in controlled timeframes that make you feel good and never leave you stressing over what to post and ending up posting something totally inauthentic and uninteresting. If you don't have a post in mind for the day, then interact, interact, interact. Now, this may seem like a lot of work, but in reality, it's more likely less work than you're currently doing, beating your head against the wall every day trying to understand the algorithm. Check out this schedule and you'll see what I mean. All right, so this is my current social media planning system. It's not anything groundbreaking, right? Like you can see how this was plotted out, but for me it did feel kind of groundbreaking because I hadn't done my planning in this way, really, where I actually plot in how I'm going to be interacting for the day. And that's something that I've been missing, I think, because with that, I've just been very random. With this method, I started off with the places that are going to be my main posting locations, that being Medium for text and YouTube for video. And then I sort of work my way down from there. Now, I have a whole other sheet for the Stygian Society. So you're just going to see stuff that's personal here. So my personal channel and the writing craft, which is connected to my personal channel. It would be a mess if I tried to work Stygian in here as well. That gets its whole own separate thing. I think for our purposes today, this is good enough and it's going to be the most relatable for you to just take a look at this one. So I have these days blue, where I'm posting fresh content. I did not record sharing on here. This is only content that I upload directly to these websites. So obviously when I post a Holly Rhiannon video on Thursday, I'm going to be sharing that on Facebook and Discord, but I'm not going to write that in there because I'm not uploading the entire video. These are uploads. Now, the really good thing here is it can be hard to always hit your mark on posting videos, blogs, etc. It depends how you're feeling that week, how busy you are. But I've got these little notes here that give me my backup. So any day, like if I cannot get it together to do my Holly Rhiannon video, I know that I'm defaulting to this little social idea, which is, catching up on friends' accounts via RSS. So every day, even if I miss uploading, I am going to be doing something to further my goals, and that is based entirely around remaining connected with other creators out there. That's the whole point. This is the connected method, and that's your bread and butter. Your bread and butter becomes those interactions in a really planned out, plotted way, and I do give myself Sundays off. Sort of off. That's my other planning system, which is related to the projects I focus on every day, and Sunday I dedicate to catching up with friends on Zoom, because otherwise I would never ever talk to them. Try out this setup for your own online presence. I bet it'll give you a sense of relief. And I have a lot of projects going on, so if you don't have as many, yours might make things even easier than what I've done here. Imagine how much you're going to accomplish. Next, I want to speak to author-publisher relations as both an author and publisher myself. In the past, publishers really invested a lot of time and energy and sleepless nights and resources to developing the presence of their authors. They offered editorial support, of course, but also guided authors through the publishing process and promoted their work so that it reached the right audience. They pushed them when it came to dreaming up new ideas and actually following through on those ideas. Certainly, these are things publishers still do to some extent. But the closeness of the publisher-author relationship has diminished somewhat. Throughout literary history, some of the most influential voices have emerged because publishers dared to take risks on new talent rather than focusing solely on marketability. This commitment to nurturing innovative writers has significantly shaped the literary landscape. Maxwell Perkins is a prime example of an editor who believed in new voices despite commercial uncertainty. Working at Charles Scribner's Sons, Perkins championed authors like F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway. Fitzgerald's This Side of Paradise faced initial rejection, but Perkins saw potential and worked closely with Fitzgerald to refine it. Similarly, Perkins supported Hemingway's early works, recognizing his unique voice and helping to shape his career. This belief in the voices of the authors that he represented led to some of the world's most enduring fiction. Bennett Cerf, co-founder of Random House, exemplified the publisher's role in promoting groundbreaking literature. Cerf took risks on controversial authors like William Faulkner and James Joyce, whose works challenged societal norms and faced censorship. By supporting these writers, Cerf helped bring important literary works to a broader audience. Speaking of Joyce, French publisher Sylvia Beach's contribution to literature goes beyond her bookstore, Shakespeare & Company, in Paris. Beach famously published Joyce's Ulysses when it was banned elsewhere, underscoring the role that publishers can play in promoting revolutionary voices. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of publishing history is when authors themselves take on the role of publisher. Virginia Woolf, alongside her husband Leonard, founded Hogarth Press. They used this platform to not only publish Woolf's works, but also those of significant modernist writers such as T.S. Eliot, Catherine Mansfield, and E.M. Forster. The Woolf's dedication to the world of literature, their willingness to again take risks on new authors and support the arts, had such an enduring effect that to this day they are one of my prime inspirations. As authors themselves, they made arguably exceptional publishers due to their understanding of the creative process and the importance of artistic integrity. By establishing publishing houses, author-publishers like Virginia Woolf created spaces where literature could thrive, free from the constraints of traditional marketability. The history of publishing is rich with examples of individuals and entities that took risks on new talent, prioritizing artistic potential over immediate commercial success. From Maxwell Perkins to Sylvia Beach and Virginia Woolf, these publishers played a major role in shaping not only the world of reading and writing, but the cultural space around them as well. And while many works published did push against the norm and were, as I've stated before, revolutionary, these weren't the only works that they were championing. They were championing works that promoted art for art's sake as well, which I'll get into in a little bit. The role of publishers has evolved significantly over the years, particularly with the advent of digital media and the rise of social platforms. In the world of modern publishing, marketability has become a dominant factor in the decision-making process. Publishers now often look primarily for authors who already have a substantial online following or social media presence, weighing this more prominently than the creator's talent. This shift is, of course, driven by the increasing competition in the market and the need to ensure a book's commercial success in an environment saturated with content. Many publishers now set follower minimums, whether they're transparent about it or not, as a prerequisite for considering new manuscripts. This trend can be so disheartening for talented writers who may not have a strong online presence but possess immense creative potential. The emphasis on marketability can overshadow the traditional role of publishers as nurturers of talent and champions of creativity. Despite these changes, the core mission of publishing, to discover and share exceptional writing, remains at the forefront of many industry minds. At the Stygian Society, we strongly believe that talent should shine through first. We are committed to recognizing and supporting these writers regardless of their social media following. Our focus is on the quality of the writing and the potential impact of the work, rather than the author's online popularity. And I know this seems kind of like an ad for us, but what I most want to put forward here is that we should not be the primary publisher latching onto this kind of resurgence of creative support. And I'm sure we're not. I'm sure there are others who have keyed into this as well, and all the power to them. We want every publisher out there to be doing what we're doing. By prioritizing talent and creativity and taking chances, publishers can maintain their role as cultural gatekeepers and tastemakers. And I know, gatekeeping is seen as a bad word these days, but especially with the amount of work out in the world, I do believe that we need to be discerning, as unpopular as that opinion may be. This approach not only honors the rich tradition of literary publishing, but also encourages the continued discovery and promotion of new voices. In an industry increasingly driven by metrics and marketability, we must keep in mind that true literary talent and originality cannot always be quantified by follower counts and social media. Whether you are embarking on setting up your own small press or you're an author wondering what you should be looking for in publishers, how can publishers act to build supportive partnerships? Publishers can really support their authors' success by offering fair royalty structures and giving personalized support. Fair royalties means that authors get paid fairly for their work. Clear rates, on-time payments, and straightforward accounting. This shows publishers are committed to the author's long-term success and financial stability. As much as creatives love creating, we also love keeping a roof over our head and food in our mouths. Personalized support is also key. This means editors giving detailed feedback, helping with marketing plans, and offering workshops and networking opportunities tailored to each author's needs. This helps authors improve their writing and connect with their readers better. This is definitely a win-win for both publisher and writer. For writers, it's important to know how to stand up for yourself. When you get a publishing offer, make sure to read all the details really carefully. Understand things like royalties, what rights you're giving up, and any other responsibilities you may take on. It's smart to talk with a literary agent or a lawyer who knows the industry. They can give you advice and make sure you're protected. Also, don't be afraid to talk to your publisher. Discuss marketing strategies, promotions, and how they can support your writing career. When authors and publishers work closely together, it can lead to a really strong and supportive partnership where both sides benefit. If you worry about your potential publishers' or authors' ability to collaborate, bring this up before you finalize any contracts. Writers, I cannot stress this enough. Don't sign anything without a second, third, or even fourth look from an experienced friend, or if you can afford it, a lawyer. Our small press, the Stygian Society, is deeply committed to the principles of art for art's sake. This phrase, famously articulated by Théophile Gautier in the 19th century, emphasizes that art should be valued for its intrinsic beauty and creativity rather than for any moral, didactic, or commercial purpose. We embody this ethos by prioritizing artistic merit of our authors' work over their Again, social media presents fame or identity labels. At the Stygian Society, we believe that if your writing is good and has strong artistic value, it deserves to be published, regardless of your background. While being openly dedicated to discovering and nurturing true literary talent from all walks of life, we maintain a firm boundary against content that promotes harmful or illegal activities. Specifically, we would not welcome works that glorify assault, harassment, sexism, or similar subjects. Additionally, we would exercise discretion in accepting individuals with criminal convictions. While we are open to publishing compelling works that reflect on past actions and promote positive change, we avoid those whose presence or contact would negatively impact our community. Overall, we uphold standards that align with more traditional views on violence and sexuality, meaning you're not always going to see too much of it in what we put forward, even though what we put forward is often dark. In the Stygian collection, I think you'll see we reach our limit with the work by Mr. Morningstar. If you've read it, you know what I mean. Our commitment to fairness is reflected in our royalty structure. We offer solo authors 50% of the profits, which is considerably higher than the industry standard. This demonstrates our belief in fairly compensating our authors for their hard work and creativity. Our authors also enjoy total transparency. If you've been published by us, you can request a Zoom meeting where we will screen share the back end of our Amazon page to show you exactly how your book is performing. Additionally, we involve our authors in every step of the process. Authors have a say in decisions about cover and interior art, ensuring that the final product aligns with their vision. Importantly, they retain rights to their work except for the necessary rights we need to publish it. This approach, I feel, respects and values the creative control of authors to build a collaborative and supportive environment. I know for myself as an author, the idea of letting everything go into the hands of a total stranger, which in essence is who your publisher starts off as, that's terrifying. You've worked on your writing for likely years, and the final work you put forward is your baby. For many traditional publishers, our approach might seem risky or naive. And while we are not yet profitable, we believe in the long-term vision of our press. By building a solid foundation of support and trust with our authors, we are confident that we will achieve long-lasting success. Despite only being in our second year of business, we have already made significant strides in supporting, connecting, and promoting our authors. While our approach may be unconventional, we believe it is the best way to honor the true spirit of literature, guaranteeing the long-term, if not immediately explosive, success of both our authors and our press. Building a strong network of authors within a publishing house can transform individual successes into collective achievements. At the Stygian Society, we launched the Stygian Collection, our first anthology, with a clear community focus. A year later, we continue to develop new initiatives and invite our authors to engage with the press in various ways, from submitting works to the Stygian zine to celebrating our publication anniversaries together. For publishers, here are some actionable steps that you can take to promote community within your press. Community engagement. Create platforms where your authors can interact regularly. At the Stygian Society, we do our best to organize events, workshops, and collaborative projects. These initiatives encourage authors to share experiences, exchange ideas, and support one another. Use specified RSS feeds. Setting up specified RSS feeds for your authors can be a really powerful tool, and it's a relatively new one that I have latched onto. This gives authors an easy way to follow updates from their fellow writers and stay connected within a very specific group. This helps build a sense of camaraderie and keeps everyone in the loop about each other's work and achievements. Highlight collaboration opportunities. Encourage your authors to participate in projects like anthologies, zines, or joint promotional events. This not only increases their visibility, but also strengthens their bond with each other and the publishing house. At the Stygian Society, our zine projects have been a great way for authors to collaborate and showcase their work to new audiences. Promote author interaction. Make it easy for your authors to connect. Private social media groups, forums, or regular virtual meetups can be effective ways to foster communication. This creates an environment where authors feel that they are really a part of a supportive community rather than working in isolation. For authors, I gave you quite a few tips to start off. So for my last bit of advice here, I want to speak to envy and competition. The biggest hurdle for someone in a creatively competitive world is often envy. It's easy to view the work of others, the success of others, and wonder why you aren't achieving as much. And it's okay to acknowledge these feelings. They're completely natural. However, it's how you deal with them that is going to make or break you. I have been in the arts world since birth. My parents are both artists and writers, and I started selling my work at conventions when I was 14. I've seen a lot. And one thing I can tell you is that those people who let envy take hold of them, gossip, attempt to sabotage and manipulate other creators, they crash and they burn. Their art always suffers, and they lose support. And if you know someone like this who has yet to crash and burn, don't worry, it's coming. So if you're starting to feel that green envy monster hanging around in your brain, if you're honing in too much on other creators as you doom scroll through Instagram and rage at the things you perceive them to have that you don't, because yes, perception can be flawed, then take a minute and decide how you are going to create a positive relationship with this person so that they can give you insight that will help with your career. That's right. Fellow creators are friends, not foes. The best thing you can do for yourself is build up a group of friends who hopefully are better than you at doing what you are trying to do. They will be your mentors and provide you with a wealth of information you would not otherwise receive. And as my wonderful friend and podcast collaborator Jenna Streety has said, if that's not something you can emotionally do at this time, then just put those people on mute. Envy can be a really constructive tool if harnessed properly. But if not, if you are not ready to do that, it is going to eat you alive. And so, creating a community within a publishing house benefits both publishers and authors. For publishers, it grows the company's positive reputation and increases the collective social media reach, working to build up a loyal fan base. For authors, it provides a support network, opportunities for collaboration, and a sense of belonging. Writing is often a really solitary world to exist within, so we need more of that whenever we can get it. By working together, publishers and authors can create a thriving, interconnected literary community that we can all be proud of. As we reach the end of this seminar, what have we learned? In the seminar description, I promised you would learn about the value of genuine connections, success beyond social stats, and creating sustainable support. So let's go over it. Authentic connections with readers, fellow authors, and influencers are invaluable. Instead of fixating on follower counts or likes, focus on meaningful interactions. Engage in real conversations, provide support, and build trust. These genuine relationships create a loyal and supportive community around your work, which will provide far more in the long run than a follower count. Success in authorship should not be defined by follower count. Chasing likes, comments, and shares can be overwhelming and often misleading. Instead, concentrate on the quality of your content and the authenticity of your interactions. True success comes from your passion and message resonating with a dedicated audience, not from playing the algorithm game. Building a sustainable support system involves both authors and publishers working together. Publishers should provide fair royalties and personalized support, while authors should seek publishers who value creativity over marketability. By creating an environment that prioritizes artistic integrity and mutual respect, both parties will set themselves up for long-term success and growth. As we've discussed today, the publishing industry is at what I feel is a pretty pivotal moment to make a change, as things like AI and content production based on trends and tags comes rising up out of the depths to swallow all of us whole. We really need to hone in on these kinds of authentic relationships, prioritizing quality over quantity, and creating real strong communities that can inspire significant change throughout our industry. At the Stygian Society, we believe that by nurturing these connections and emphasizing the true value of creativity and art for art's sake, we can redefine what it means to be a successful author in the modern era. Imagine an industry where every author feels supported, where their work is valued for its artistic merit, and where publishers and writers work together as true partners. This is not just a dream, but a tangible reality that we can create together. I encourage each of you, whether you're an author, a publisher, or someone passionate about the literary world, to join us in this mission. Let's redefine authorship by fostering genuine support networks and making creativity the heart of our industry. By doing so, we will create a vibrant, diverse, and thriving literary community for generations to come. Now, I would love to open the floor to questions and discussion. This is your opportunity to share your experiences, ask questions, and exchange ideas. Whether you have insights on building author communities, thoughts on the challenges you've faced in the industry, or suggestions reflecting on how you've made genuine connections, your contributions are really important, and I am looking forward to hearing them all. Let's talk about how we can all support one another. And hey, if you are watching this back after the event, I will continue to check up on comments. So get involved by writing your questions in the comments down below, and I will be sure to answer them. Now, on to Live Holly. Hello, I'm here. It is really, really hot in Romania today, so excuse me if I'm really out of it. I've just been guzzling water and trying to become a person again since being outside. Yeah, so thank you so much to everyone who's been here, who's sat through the presentation. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And I'm just gonna look at some of your questions and comments. So for genuine connection on social platforms, that's hard because they're all kind of difficult because we're all, I think, in very much the same headspace when we're on social platforms, which is like a very rat racy, fast moving, doom scrolly thing. But strangely, I think that Facebook has been really good. Facebook actually, and I know this is like the boomer platform, but they provide a lot of places that that encourage longer form conversation, like by having groups and Messenger and stuff like that. Whereas somewhere like Instagram, you're very much limited to like the DMs, lives, and comments. So I know that Meta is not everyone's favorite, but I mean, that's Instagram too. So honestly, like for genuinely connecting with people, Facebook is pretty good. And I wouldn't be too mad if it made a comeback in the marketing world. Because I mean, I actually use it when I am doing ad placement and stuff. And it's been pretty good with that for actually honing in on groups of people. So it is a good place to find your people at, I find. Like our NaNoWriMo group on Facebook is our most active place. So personally, my experience in community has been really good on Facebook. And Discord too, like I mentioned, Discord's great just because you are in that environment that's more like a forum than a commenting and DM type of system. So I hope that that everyone was able to check out the supplemental info. I just have a link for it's a Sheets page on Google Docs, and I just have some links, and you can also take a look at that social plan that I did with all my writing packed in there. Yeah, yeah, like Facebook, I don't know. I don't know if it's a generational thing. It could be. That would make sense because people in my generation or older, I think, we started off on Facebook and we are used to having more long form conversation, and maybe we want that more. Whereas, like I was saying, younger generations, the attention span is less and less and less. Soon it's going to be, 1 second. So yeah, like there is more of a community thing with people who did not grow up with the internet. I find there's a big difference where you having internet when you were a kid versus not. This this is also true. Yeah, I mean, like, it's great if you can get out into the world and you know, do in-person book clubs, things like that, and make connections locally, because that's so nice. It's so nice to be able to have those local connections, but unfortunately, as everything becomes more and more online and more global, we have to try and reproduce those coffee shop and bar type places in the online world. And I think that's one of the things that I'm hoping to get at here, if we can push interaction among one another more than we do right now. And I mean, like I said, I'm guilty of not following through on that as much, hence my new fun planner. I'll have to do a follow up on this once I've been putting that more into action, just to add some more insights, because I think it could be interesting. And I mean, if anyone wants to see my other crazy planning, I might do a video on that at a later date, because there's a lot of it that I'm trying to sort out. When you have a lot of projects and you are traveling, you gotta be organized. You gotta be. And I'm leaving for Bucharest pretty soon, so I'm yeah, just another bit of craziness going on here. But I will be looking forward to hanging out on the train and the bus and doing more plotting and writing. Oh yes, the caravan. So this was something that Pei and I did with Stygian when we first were like getting things up and running, before we even had any books out under the Stygian banner. And we were going to a local bookstore in Montreal and trying to build those local connections. So we would go to the shop, and Pei and I would take turns reading, and we would invite other people too, and it would be sort of this little performance at a bookstore, and we would have our books with us. And then the other half of it was that we would go to a restaurant after, and we had our own little like room booked off, and we would all sit in there and just talk about creative things. And I don't think it ever really hit the level that we wanted it to get, because we just started, we did a few of them. But I mean, as a great example, that is how we met Sheraton, and Sheraton is now like one of our closest friends and a writer in the Stygian collection. So again, you know, those personal connections that you make with people, whether that is in your city or something in a smaller space online, you're going to make actual, you know, strides in your career, way more than you do when you're just liking stuff and trying to post something at the exact right time on the exact right day. I'm glad that you like the supplemental doc. I just thought, I mean, it's not like a really complicated spreadsheet or anything, but I thought if this helps me, it could help other people. So I may as well just provide it, and you can take the concept and run with it. And I hope it does help. Hey Jane, it's great to see you. And yeah, it was really fun. It would be good to do that again, but you know, I've got to actually be in one place. I'm doing my year of traveling right now, so I am all over the place at the moment. All right. So as well, I mean, we still have quite a while to hang out here. I'm just on edge because of having to run to the station. I feel bad because the woman who runs my B&B is not here right now, and I don't know if she's going to come back before I leave. It makes me sad because she's super nice. I just want to go through my little links here to make sure everyone saw them. If anyone's interested in submitting work to the Stygian Society, we are always welcoming submissions. So we have a page for, you know, full novel submissions, and then we also have the zine. So if you write short stories, poetry, if you're a visual artist, then the zine is a really good place for you. The zine is also kind of like a first level of publication with Stygian, because we are looking at all of those authors. You know, if you've been accepted into the zine, basically, it's going to very much increase your chances that you get accepted for a full publication, like a full novel. So I highly recommend checking out the zine at the very least. So even if you're not finished a novel yet and not sure where you want to submit it, you can always try to get a short story or a poem in with us, and then you'll have one foot in the door already. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to do the zine, just to provide more space for people to come in and for us to build that community. Like at this point, with the zine included, I actually sent an email out for our collection anniversary, because tomorrow it's the 1 year anniversary of the Stygian collection, which is crazy to think. So as of tomorrow, that's our like big anniversary. That's why we have a contest going right now. But I sent an email out to everyone who we've published, and I think there were like 42 people. So it adds up. It really adds up. We're building that community. And thank you so much. I linked this at the beginning, but I will link it again. So we are doing a contest right now on Instagram. So it's a pretty easy contest. You just like the post, you make sure you're following us at stygian.society on Instagram, and then then just tag 3 friends in the comments who also like books. So it's an easy one to enter. I'm pretty sure it's all physical books. There's one author where I'm not totally sure. So 5 physical books at least, maybe 6, perhaps 5 physical books and a PDF. 42 is a good number, but we're going to be exceeding it soon. We'll have to move on to the next good number. Oh, and thank you, Sheraton. You're so sweet. We're glad to have you a part of things. And thank you. There's a lot that I wanted to do for the anniversary, and there's one big thing in particular that I'm doing, but I can't say what it is yet because it was supposed to be ready for tomorrow, and I don't know if it will be. So there will be a cool publishing related thing for the collection to celebrate its 1 year, just because there is a limit on what I can do given the traveling. So with that, I did set up one big project, but I'm having a few things that are slowing it down. So hopefully this week, though, at least our anniversary week, I'm going to have a cool thing that comes out. And we've also had something interesting from our artists. So I'm going to be posting about that on our social media. And thank you, Shannon. We're in our 2nd year now, and I'm excited for our 3rd year because in Canada, a lot of the grants that you can get happen when you have completed 2 years of publishing, and when you have a certain number of books out. So once we hit our 3rd year, then we're going to be able to start going after grants and things like that, which should help us grow even more if we can lock those in. But yeah, it went by really fast. Really fast, and we have so much cool stuff coming up. Like we're planning 2 more books for the year, actually, believe it or not. This might be one of the reasons why I'm losing my mind a bit. They're good though, and I'm excited to announce them, and we'll be doing crowdfunding and stuff like that for them, but in a little more limited way, because I don't want to completely inundate people with crowdfunding, because it'll be 1 month and then a 1 month off and then going right into another drive. So, but they are very different books, so I think that there will be something for different audiences. So we won't necessarily be pulling in the same backers for each. We'll see. One we have already teased in Dark Flock. So if you have a copy of Dark Flock, then you have some idea of what's coming for our very first seasonal. Well, it'll be our 2nd seasonal book, because that's what these books are. We have something spooky and something Christmassy. Thank you for more congrats. Yeah, and definitely everyone be sure to enter that contest. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram is where we are really trying to grow the most. I say as I just finished talking about not having numbers, but we're trying to grow our community on Instagram, which may seem kind of funny because like I said earlier, I do think Facebook is a great place for interaction, but I think Instagram has a lot of potential too, just because of the visual nature and the amount of book community members who are on Instagram. There are a lot of bookish people on Instagram. So we are hoping to reach out to more of them and bring them in and, recruit them for the cause. All right. What else? What else can I talk about? I mean, I may, if we don't have any more questions, I may actually wrap this up in 5 minutes. I don't think Margaret and Shannon will murder me if I'm done 5 minutes early, I'm assuming, because I am anxious about catching my train. So yeah, if anyone has more comments, let me know. I'm still here for a little bit. I'm happy to answer questions, etc. And for anyone who missed the beginning of the seminar, I do hope that you'll go back and check it out, because I did kind of dump a lot of stats and a lot of advice right at the beginning, and that's when you see my insane schedule that is in the supplemental info. Oh, thank you for stopping by, Jane. Right. Oh yeah. Shout out, by the way, to Bree and Chelsea, who had awesome presentations. Two other Stygian creators, and Pei, of course, who was on yesterday. I was going to say last night, but I think it was technically late afternoon. I'm 7 hours later. My brain is discombobulated. So we had 3 Stygian creators, not including, my other thanks goes out to Margaret, who is a Stygian author and also one of the people heading the conference, and of course Shannon, who is at the helm of all of this. I've really appreciated being a part of this. It's been a fun weekend. It's been a lot of work, but I think a lot of reward. And I've seen a lot of new faces and been able to talk to people I haven't seen around before. So that's always a fun thing. So definitely follow me all over the place. I do have my general like Holly Rhiannon link tree. Let me just see if I can bring that up. Okay. Drop that there. That will have all my socials on it. So follow me, and I will probably follow you back if I recognize your name. I do try to do that. So I'll be keeping an eye on my phone, and hopefully I have internet through the evening. That would be very helpful. Thank you. I used to do the emo glasses, but I recently switched to the cat eye, and I've been liking it quite a bit. The human capacity for murder. What did I miss here? I missed something about murder. That's sad. I like talking about murder. No. Well, I mean, it's always going to be a weird way when someone says they like talking about murder. I write horror murder mysteries sometimes. You are most welcome, and thank you for stopping by. Oh, hello. Hello, Konstantin. Thanks for stopping by. We're just at the tail end of this seminar here, but I hope that you go back and watch from the beginning so you can get some advice on communities and authorship and publishing and stuff like that. If you are a writer, I'm not sure if you are. I'm assuming you are, considering you are here. So, all right. I am going to stop blathering because I think we are finished our questions and comments. If anyone thinks of something later that you forgot to mention while we were here live, just drop it in the comments. I'm going to keep checking the comments. This is going to stay up on my channel, and yeah, there's going to be plenty further discussion if you are interested in having it. Please do check out the Stygian Society. Follow me, follow the Stygian Society everywhere. If you are an author, submit your work. We would love to see it, whether it's for the zine or it's a full manuscript. That is all good. And I'm going to wrap this up now. You're welcome, Sheraton. And hopefully we can catch up in a, longer form way soon. I just realized I don't have an end screen. So this is, oh, do I? Oh my gosh, I do have an end screen. Past Holly is good. Thanks again, everyone. And I hope that you continue to have a day that is just as wonderful as you are.